Alright, so we can finally see the battle. We're hopping in. You know how it is. We got Bridger Snow versus the legendary George Tifferman, G Tiffy, SudokuMasta.
SudokuMasta, get it right.
I'm Canadian, I can't pronounce the words correctly.
That's accurate.
So, what teams are you expecting to see from these players?
I have no clue. Probably something whack from Bridger.
Yeah, probably something crazy.
Relatively standard from George. I know he's not really that big a Xerneas fan, so probably something like Evil Dawn or Evil Dawn, I expect.
Yeah. George likes to use some standard stuff, not too often meta. Probably some Evil Dawn or some Xerneas Groudon. But Bridger's honestly a wild card when it comes to team building. Like I know, like even like way back in the day, he's always used like crazy teams.
Yo, what's Wacka's SoundCloud? I forgot.
Wacka's? It's Triple T Talent Puff. It's probably the best music you'll ever hear in your entire life.
I was gonna put it on the background.
It will not go well through your mic.
Puff TT, there it is.
Puff TT.
Wait.
Alright, so we got Bridger's avatar. Looking pretty stylish, pretty summery, and we're hopping into team preview.
Preview, SudokuMasta on the right side of your screen with a team of Kyogre, Incineroar, Stakataka, Togedemaru, Gengar, and
Yveltal.
That's Dark Flying Xerneas.
Stop. No, it's not.
And then on the right side we got Pickle Sword with a team of
It's not Pickle.
Tapu Koko, Lunala, Mega Metagross, Scarf Ogre, Tapu Lele, and Incineroar.
Steven. Yveltal is not a Dark Flying Zern, but okay.
I mean, it kinda is, like...
Anyways...
It can dominate a game like a Xerneas can.
If George's Yveltal is AV, it's looking really good going into this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. There aren't a lot of things on Bridger's team that can touch it that hard. Like, the biggest thing you could probably hit is the Tapu Koko, but then George has the Togedemaru with the Lightning Rod to ward off the top.
Yeah.
Team preview, even.
Yeah, I mean, Lele can do a decent chunk, but, like, especially with AV Yveltal, you can just take that and snarl back. And
George you can take it, snarl back, you have Gengar, you have Togedemaru, you have Stack.
Yeah.
It's like, it's super hard to deal with. Now, if that Kyogre is potentially holding the Choice Scarf item...
I guess. I'm not sure
would
about that.
Tear through Don't tell me it wouldn't tear through George.
That would do some damage right there.
Don't tell me it wouldn't
that's a lot of
tear
damage
through that team.
I mean, look at Scarf Ogre. Look at his team. But anyways, we're hopping into the battle.
We're hopping into the game.
I mean, I don't really.
SudokuMasta.
How do you like these outfits coming out from these players?
They're pretty interesting. I really like that neither of them are using like the generic Como outfit or like the Nurse Joy outfit. I really actually like the summary look from Bridger's. So
I really like Bridger's, honestly. I think
we should honestly just give game one to Bridger, as we do see the Yveltal Togedemaru that we talked about at the beginning of the match. Honestly, Bridger said that Tapu Lele and Incineroar.
Yeah, I don't like the no sleeve look from George. Anyways, looking at this lead here.
Oh, so we do see the Tapu Lele Psychic Surge going before the Incineroar's Intimidate, indicating that it was most likely not a Choice Scarf Incineroar.
Yeah, that's actually a really good observation to make. You know, Choice Scarf Incin is very common in this format. But
the Lele's thing did go off before the Yveltal Dark Aura, which indicates it's most likely either a Scarf Lele or a slow bulky Yveltal, but like knowing from what we see from this format so far, it could likely be both. Although I have seen Z move Yveltal more and more on ladder recently.
Looking at this lead, I think I really like Bridger's lead. I think Incineroar puts on a lot of pressure to the Togedemaru, and there's not much pressuring from George's side of the field. He can't fake out with Togedemaru.
Exactly. A -1 like Steel type attack will still do a lot of damage to the Tapu Lele. As we see the Yveltal cycle out into the Gengar, so potentially taking a Moonblast, as the Moonblast does come out.
That's a very risky play from George, in my opinion, because Gengar's going to take a lot of damage no matter what. And
the Moonblast was disabled, so if that is a Choice Scarf for Tapu Lele, it's about to get paralyzed and is forced to switch out next turn.
Let's see who the Flare Blitz potentially goes into, if it's into Togedemaru or if it's into the Gengar.
Flare Blitz comes out into the Togedemaru, most likely knocking it down to a focus.
Yeah.
Oh no, Togedemaru goes down.
That's a very, very important knockout, considering...
It's a huge knockout, especially if Bridger has Tapu Koko in the back.
Yeah.
You see, the paralyzed Lele forces switch out next turn as Kyogre hits the field, which either scares off Instant or threatens it with the KO. As we do see the blue orb activate, I've not seen this animation yet.
True. Honestly, that was a great turn one from Bridger that honestly just came down to his lead matchup being so good. Yeah, I don't know what else George could have done. Maybe he doesn't have stack attack in the back, so he couldn't have switched that into a Moonblast.
Yeah, definitely. And you probably don't want your character taking extra damage in this matchup. So
yeah, for sure.
Free to just fire off a powerful attack with his character here and set up like a trap the next turn to make a Gengar. And if Bridger isn't careful here, he could potentially lose 2 Pokemon. If, for example, a Lunala switches on a Shadow Ball, or a Tapu Koko switches on a Sludge Bomb.
Also, shout out to Ashton Cox in the chat for the great compliments, you know, making us feel great on this great day.
Good day.
What does Bridger have on his team to switch into an Origin Pulse from this Kyogre? I don't think there was much.
Besides a Miss, I'm not really sure what can switch into an Origin Pulse, besides maybe his own Kyogre. Just see the Gengar cycle out into the Evital, preserving the Cursed Body, which could come into play later.
The important Cursed Body ability.
The Water Spout comes out, securing a double knockout for George. I definitely agree with sacking the Tapu Lele on this turn, especially if it is the Choice Scarf item. It was just fodder for the Gengar or the Kyogre at any point. Now, Bridger can completely reset his board, bring in his last 2 Pokemon, and have a shot at winning this game.
I think that really shows like maybe a flaw in Bridger's team, or maybe just like the importance of the 2 mons in the back that he didn't want to switch them in to take that Water Spout.
As we see Necrozma and Kyogre hit the field, so we do see the blue orb activate from the opposing Kyogre side. Unfortunately, it is not a Choice Scarf mode.
He is rocking the shiny Ogre though, looking clean.
Remains to be seen whether he did hack his Pokemon in 2016. So I definitely think Eviltal's in a really good position here, like having the type advantage against the Lunala on the other side of the field, and being able to snarl Bridger's Kyogre.
Yeah.
A powerful Psychic type attack like a Photon Geyser or a potential Light that burns the sky 2 turns from now could do massive damage to the Kyogre, but I just think Bridger's going to have a very hard time touching George's Eviltal for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think Yveltal is just in such a good position here, especially if it's holding that Assault Vest. Like, he can just keep snarling down these mons and then eventually bring in Gengar and take out the Necrozma, where Kyogre won't be able to do much damage.
Yeah, even if it's not AV, even if it's offensive, he'll be able to just flat out knock out the Lunala, which is Mega Evolving into Ultra.
Oh, this is the first time I'm seeing this animation too. Damn, okay.
Just to the Showdown version.
I love that. Oh, he's actually setting up a substitute.
Which would be interesting if George goes for the Snarl, but no, George goes for the Dark EMZ on the most likely going to break that sub on the
unless we see maybe a potential double up into the Kyogre to take that out.
Double up into the Kyogre would be very interesting, especially in the fact that also the Cosmo can't really touch Eviltal, so perhaps he's going to try to get that 1v1 to the end of the game. Splatford goes into the...
But I think it's interesting.
Booming it.
And actually picking up the knockout, wow.
Heard my thought. Water Spout comes out, breaks the sub, and seals game 1 for George, pretty much.
Yeah, this is game 1. So I think it's interesting, the Z move on Yveltal is both good and bad. Good in the fact that you can take out Kyogre in one hit like that, but bad in the fact that you're going to be taking a lot of damage from a lot of attacks on
definitely something Bridger will game 2. Bridger will definitely want to try to land the Moonblast onto that Eviltal next game. Probably it'll do 89% as Bridger clicks the forfeit.
Yeah, Eviltal is definitely the biggest threat to Bridger's team right now, and he's got Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele to deal with that, but not really much else.
Yeah, it's been a common theme ever since like VGC 16 and like through Sun and Moon is like if your team doesn't have a Xerneas, you probably have a very very hard time dealing with Eviltal.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick Borgie in the chat. Throwing some love that way. Anyways, yeah, the top side is Bridger and the bottom side is George. Alright, going into game 2, what do you think Bridger's gotta do to take this W?
I definitely think better positioning with the Tapu Lele is important, as we saw it just... The second it got paralyzed, it became useless. It became food for the Kyogres, it became food for the Eviltal. I think preserving it, perhaps bringing it in the back could be a better option. I do think getting rid of the Togedemaru early was smart. Too much since, like, you didn't have the Tapu Koko on the back. I'm not even sure if bringing, like, the Lunala on Bridger's side is smart enough, because even when you... the Mega Lunala, like, you're still slower than... slower than Gengar getting hit by it, you're taking probably 40% protect. I don't even know if it's worth it.
Yeah, if you look at George's team, he's got a lot to deal with that. Lunala, so
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the
trying
best,
something like a double Tapu Bring could be interesting, as they're both like your team's Evil Talent answers, and if you can get rid of the Togedemaru, it can also answer the Kyogre pretty well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just think the bulk on George's side and the support he has with the Paralysis and Togedemaru might just be too much to overcome the matchup, because Metagross seems cool with the mix of the Yveltal and Mega Gengar. Like, maybe you're fishing for an Iron Head flinch on the... That's not very helpful.
Yeah, honestly, I think George really has the edge on this matchup. Like, the components of his team make it so that everything that Bridger can bring that can touch, like, Kyogre Yveltal, like, he has covered with, like, Togedemaru and stuff like Gengar and Stack. So, like, there's not much Bridger can do. He's gonna have to really play really well and bring the correct four in order to overcome this, I think. Yeah, because if you look at his team, Bridger only has one water resisting Kyogre, which gets OHKO'd by the Yveltal D move.
OHKO by the Yveltal gets probably hit by the Togedemaru because if it's not, actually gonna assume it's the Saltfest. Probably takes at least 40% from Zing Zap. It's like it's not a fun time if you're trying to resist Kyogre as Bridger.
Yeah, I think the only way Bridger can get around this is by taking out Togedemaru early and then having top the Coco.
I agree. Yeah. Which he could have potentially set himself up for game 1, but I think perhaps Mega Lunala was the wrong way.
Yeah, and maybe for a speed tie too with the Gengar, which he never really positioned. But so we'll see how this match goes with George going for the same lead.
Yveltal Togen, no reason to switch things up as the Tapu Lele Incineroar does come out from Bridger here. So, if this game 2 goes the way that same turns repeat from game 1, George will definitely win again. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bridger decides to change up this time.
Yeah, and also George might decide to change up too, because we might see like Bridger going for hard reads, which I think he needs to make in this matchup, like a Psychic into the Yveltal. He expects a Gengar switch. But then George might expect that and stay in with Yveltal. So there could be some mind games going on here. But I think George really needs to preserve Yveltal's HP. That's really a key to this matchup. And maybe Bridger has Tapu Koko in the back, which would be really good for him if he could take out this Togedemaru turn 1 again.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting position, because you can't let the double knockout that he did in the last game. So you certainly have to try to position yourself a little better here. Maybe go for a U-turn on Incineroar instead of going straight up for the knockout of the Togedemaru. But even then, if you don't kill the Togedemaru, then your potential Tapu Koko is useless. So George is taking a lot of time here.
Yeah, you need to have something on the field that can provide you, because that was a big problem last game when his got paralyzed.
We see Tapu Koko come in turn 1.
Turn 1. So if you can take out the Togedemaru this turn, then that will be huge for Bridger.
As we see the turn 1 Z move come out from George, most likely hitting into that Tapu Koko. Nate, I have no idea how much this does. Do you want to give a guess?
I'm guessing around like 40%.
No, I'm gonna say like
50,
70.
Yeah, actually, I think my percentage is way off considering OHKO to Kyogre. It'll probably do a lot.
Let's say 70 to 80. Oh, wow.
No, my 40
Very
is
bulky
right.
Tapu Koko as the nuzzle goes into the Tapu Koko, putting it in range of. Oh, that did nothing.
And I think George got a little bit too into his own head there.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit greedy.
Yeah, just going for the turn 1 Z move, and he loses Togedemaru too, which this is exactly the position we were talking about that Bridger needed to get himself into.
Yeah, because if George brings in Gengar here, he's risking a potential speed tie with the Tapu Koko, and if he brings in Kyogre, well, then it's getting hit by Tapu Koko.
Yeah, and if he brings in Gengar too, then Incineroar is also pressuring that on the field.
Yeah, so totally agree with me and you think as Incineroar hits the field.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting that he decided to bring Incineroar.
Which suggests that that perhaps he brought that means he benched one of Gengar or Kyogre, most likely having benched that Mega Gengar.
Yeah, considering how good Kyogre is in this matchup, I think it's definitely a bench for Mega Gengar. Which I like that move a lot from George.
Yeah, as well. Good job, George.
It'll be interesting to see what item this Tapu Koko has too, if it's the Z move, the Assault Vest, the
remember what Bridger's team was, I think it would make the most sense for the Z move to be on the Tapu Koko.
Yeah. And that could be really good, especially because George's Yveltal
Your
is
George's team,
not
yeah.
a Solvest. Yeah, so he
There's
can
nothing.
either he can use
He
that
can
to
do
pick up
it.
KOs on Kyogre or the Yveltal.
So most likely predicting a fake out onto his own Tapu Koko. As Yveltal goes for Protect, most likely reading into the Yveltal. As Tapu Koko goes for a Volt Switch onto the Incineroar, reading the Protect.
Yeah, that was a really interesting turn.
That did almost nothing in Tapu Koko, but cycles out on Bridger's side, bringing in the Incineroar back in. So putting fake up pressure back on the Yveltal and neutering George's Incineroar even more.
Yeah, this position is looking really good for Bridger here. As
Squirtwo goes into the became the Incineroar.
Yeah, I think Lele's definitely locking himself into Moonblast here, considering there's probably a Kyogre in the back. And honestly, it can just throw off Moonblast George's side of the field. And considering his Incineroar is intimidated too, there's not much it can do back, I guess. And I'm really liking how Bridger managed this game out of a pretty bad matchup, honestly.
I agree. A Moonblast from the Tapu Lele would be devastating into the Yveltal slot. Like, you don't want your Kyogre taking any extra damage, and you don't want to lose your Yveltal this round.
Yeah.
Yveltal does switch out, most likely bringing in the Kyogre. So if it decides to try to tank a potential Moonblast U-turn combination, it'll probably take around 50% of the health.
Which you really don't want taking on your Kyogre, especially because George is running Water Spout too.
Yeah, that even though it was the only move he's revealed on his Kyogre so far, it's most likely Scald as that into the Kyogre. Getting the special attack drop, which could be huge, as George and Incineroar U-turns off the top of that.
Yeah, that special attack drops could be actually massive. Making it miss potential KOs on the top of Lily.
As Yveltal comes back in, waiting for Bridger's Incineroar to most likely U-turn back into his own Tapu Koko. Goes for a Snarl, putting the Kyogre at -2 special attack. I don't even know if an Origin Pulse can pick up the knockout of the Incineroar now.
Yeah, Bridger reading into that Kyogre switching very well. And honestly playing this game almost perfectly so far. So yeah, Moonblast is threatening damage on both Pokemon here. Well, Kyogre isn't going to be doing much back.
What's the chat doing? Check up on you guys every once in a while.
And have we seen Bridger's last Pokemon? We know he has Tapu Koko.
We have not. We've only seen Incin, Lele, and Koko.
Yeah.
It's safe to assume it's the Kyogre, as the Mega Lunala really didn't do anything last game.
I think it's Necrozma, not Lunala.
It's pretty clearly Lunala. As we see the Moonblast come out into the Yveltal, doing massive damage and picking up the KO.
Yeah, that's probably a max speed, max either special attack or attack Yveltal, considering that damage.
Into Incineroar and still gets them. Oh, misses the knockout.
By
At -2 special attack as Incineroar eats his berry. Most likely into the Tapu Koko to seal the game.
Yeah, really impressively played by Bridger there.
He pinned George very well after making the return when to KO the Togedemaru. Tapu Koko hits the field.
Yeah, he did exactly what we said he needed to do in this match, which was take out Togedemaru earlier and then pressure with his Tapus. But he used Lele really well, putting pressure on Yveltal and Kyogre, and also predicting a lot of switches in this game, with the Snarl coming out onto the Kyogre too.
The Snarl coming out into the Kyogre was huge.
Yeah.
Even though I still think he gets turned back to Tapu Koko was still effective.
So this should look like a win for Bridger, and
we'll be going into a game 3.
Yeah, honestly, I think Bridger just needs to try the same strategy. I think it's his best course of action in this matchup. But I don't think George really has to change up too much either. I think he just needs to stay focused and not let
Togedemaru look better probably.
Yeah, and not just throw off the Z move. Like, don't get greedy with Yveltal like he did there.
What do you think about George's Incineroar bring game 2?
Incineroar is interesting. I think I would think I like it because with Gengar you do get outsped by the Tapu Lele anyways, and Gengar doesn't do much against Incineroar. But it also risks a speed tie with Coco.
Mhm.
What is good about Gengar though is you can trap Lele into bad slots. So like if it's locked into Moonblast and you have like Gengar, yeah,
Yeah,
like
you lock it into Moonblast and
yeah, and
like
just
Gengar
kill
Evil
it.
Call, for example, and it locks in a Moonblast, you switch out Evil Call, and it locks into Psychic, you switch out Gengar.
Yeah, exactly.
If
So-
that does come to fruition, you have to be scared of a U-turn play from Bridger to cycle his Incineroar out to perhaps put himself in a better position with his Kyogre, but
Yeah.
very interesting.
What do you think about stack attack in this matchup? Because setting up Trick Room could be interesting with Kyogre underspeeding, Kyogre and Yveltal underspeeding both Tapus.
I think a Trick Room Ogre Sweep is definitely an interesting route to go for George.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it would come down to the speeds on the Kyogres and confirmed yet which one is faster, but
Yeah. So that
only
that
issue-
could
the
that
only
could be
issue
very
is that
interesting.
the Trick Room could potentially backfire on him is if his Kyogre is slower and perhaps gets thundered by Bridger's Kyogre under a Trick Room to prevent the massive damage from
Yeah. And I think Bridger is really like pressured into bringing both Tapu's Kyogre and Incineroar, considering the matchup that he has. I think he needs to keep trying to get rid of Togedemaru pressure with Tapu Koko.
Yeah, he definitely needs both Tapu's build to put enough pressure onto the Yveltal and the Kyogre. Even with the presence of Togedemaru, I feel like Tapu Koko is still necessary.
Because that was his big problem game one is George has got his Kyogre in for free with a slight speed control, and Bridger could do nothing about that. He just had to sack both his Incineroar and his Tapu Lele, which was huge. But I definitely don't think Bridger should bring the Necrozma this game, considering George's team.
I think it's just too risky of a bring. Even then, like even if you do bring it out, even if you do bring it against the right combination of mods, like for example, Stack comes, I don't think it's too effective.
Yeah, for sure.
Stack attack lead from George.
So George is looking to potentially go that Trick Room mode. So he's changing it
come
right.
out from.
Oh, and wow, switches from both sides. So maybe Bridger anticipating that stack attack here. So considering George bought the stack attack, he either dropped Incineroar or that Togedemaru, and hopefully for him in this position,
I would presume Togedemaru if he's going to go for a hard Trick Room mode.
Yeah. So if he did drop that Togedemaru, then Bridger's in a fantastic position here. If he's willing to just risk the electric type move.
He's going to risk the turn 1 Z move on Yveltal, but this could go as bad for him as Togedemaru and Dark Pulses or Foul Plays the Metagross for the KO.
For sure.
As you do see Stack switch out, what's coming in, as we see Togedemaru hit the field.
And that could be taking a Stomping Tantrum this turn as well.
But Tapu Koko will likely move before the Metagross, as BG will have that one turn of Electric type redirection.
Yeah.
As Metagross Mega Evolving, it signals it will almost certainly attack this turn. As Tapu Koko goes for Nature's Madness into the Yveltal, fading. As Metagross goes for the Iron Head into the Yveltal, most likely picking up the KO.
Wow, incredible play from Bridger there, taking out the biggest threat to his team on the first turn. George wasn't even able to get his Z move off. Fantastic.
As likely going to try to hit the field here, as if they got Trick Room play is pretty safe from George, as we did discuss a potential Trick Room sweep could win in Game 3.
But George is honestly not pressuring anything on the field right now. He probably has Kyogre in the back, but that's his only means of hard offense right now, and his only means of hitting the Metagross. Whereas Tapu Koko is probably most likely a Solfest. He can keep throwing off Nature's Madness and just chip away at these Mons.
I wonder if a potential U-turn play from Togedemaru to potentially get the Kyogre in safely under Trick Room is probably one of George's only outs here.
Yeah, but then you also risk the Stomping Tantrum.
You risk a Nature's Madness Stomping Tantrum into a Stack Attack, I agree, but
yeah,
George definitely has to make a big play to get himself back into this game. Tapu Koko does withdraw.
Bridger honestly adjusted perfectly to this Game 3 and predicted the Stack Attack I bring.
As Psychic Terrain goes up and Metagross goes for a Zen Headbutt, Togedemaru doing massive damage. As Togedemaru flinches, most likely tried to go for the U-turn as the Trick Room gets set up by Psychic Attack.
That's so unfortunate for George, because if he got Kyogre in there, he'd
He
be
got
free to fire
Kyogre
off
in
a
there.
water
It
spout.
was an amazing position for George, but the Zen Headbutt indicates two things. One, that he most likely doesn't have Stomping Tantrum, and that
Yeah, one other interesting idea about the Zen Headbutt is he might be going for that to try to keep Togedemaru on the field, yeah, so that Kyogre doesn't come in, and therefore he can stall more.
Trying to punish a hard Kyogre switch, to be honest.
Yeah, something like that too, honestly.
As we Sakataka goes to the straight Gyro Ball into the top of Lele, picking up the one-hit KO, and most likely the defensive Beast Boost at the same time.
Yeah, so that defensive Beast Boost could come in handy against his Metagross and potential Incineroar in the back.
You turned the Stakataka.
Oh no, and that's
In Kyogre here, that's probably going to eat a Zen Headbutt.
That's really risky play, considering the Zen Headbutt's going to come out. So George has to hope and pray that that Bridger attacks the Stakataka here.
Pray for a Zen Headbutt this week.
Yeah. Or that he attacked into Stakataka for some reason.
The Primordial Sea hit the field.
We see it up.
Metagross' Zen Headbutt.
It actually goes for the Iron Head.
Stakataka, very interesting play from Bridger there.
That's so important for George, because if he took a Zen Headbutt onto the Kyogre there, the game was
as Bridger sends out his own Kyogre. And as we said, if it does come down to Trick Room, it's going to come down to how these two Kyogres interact with each other speed-wise.
Yeah, speed-wise, and if they carry Thunder, if they don't.
And if they do carry Thunder, where, like, is George's Togedemaru out? Like, what's happening with that?
Yeah, this interaction is one of the reasons why this format is cool. Yeah.
I do think that if George's Kyogre is slower here, he's a very, very safe Water Spout Rock Slide here.
Yeah.
To do massive damage to the opposing Kyogre, and it gives you the flinch chance.
There's a large lapse of information from both sides in this position, so it's really hard to tell what players want to go for here, because they don't know if each other have Thunder, they don't know the speed tiers at all.
Most would assume that George's Kyogre does not have Thunder, as most likely doesn't have room for it. As George switches out the Stakataka and bringing the Togedemaru back in, most likely trying to read a Thunder from Bridger.
Yeah, for sure.
And protect. We see Kyogre on George's side being slower, going for the Water Spout. Let's see how much this does to the opposing Kyogre. Does around... As the Kyogre goes for the safe Scald onto the Togedemaru slot, knocking it out.
So I think George's Kyogre is probably not carrying Thunder, considering he does have that Togedemaru, but we never know.
The game just seems pretty much trying to trick him out a little bit.
Yeah, and now he has the potential Rock Slide pressure too to get some flinching.
Bridger has like a super safe double protect. It's called Zen Headbutt in the game.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely
down
wants
to whether Bridger can actually wait. Metagross can't protect, which means he's gonna get a free switch. Which means that that slot is gonna go down to a Water Stop, but Kyogre on Bridger's side should be able to win the game. Oh no, there's 2 turns left to Trick Room. My bad. Brings in the Tapu Koko, getting rid of the Psychic Terrain.
And Tapu Koko will likely be going down to this Water Spout Rock Slide combination.
It'll go down to the combo, but let's see if as we see the Kyogre go for protect on. As we see the Rock, so this game will most likely come down to whether or not Kyogre can hang on for the Rock Slide combination the following turn.
I think a major turning point in this game is when George hard switched into that Kyogre and Bridger didn't attack that slot with Zen Headbutt.
That was a super interesting dynamic to me from Bridger, but it's put George into a good position. And do you think that George would? I think this game almost solely comes down to whether or not Kyogre gets a double protect here, because it should. This range as to whether or not it goes down to a Gyro Ball Water Spout combination. But if it does go down, that should be the game for Jordan, and if it doesn't go down, then it should be the game for Bridger.
Yeah. We could also see George just going for the Rock Slide.
Gyro Ball does more damage.
Against Kyogre?
Yeah, I think so. It depends on the speeds, but
you know your calc's better than me, so I'll take your word for that.
I think you don't want to miss. You don't want to risk missing. And I have the calc open if I do want.
And he does go for the double protect and miss.
Misses the double protect as Sakataka goes for the Rock Slide. Not
does it connect? And it does connect.
Kyogre putting it inside water spout range. Water spout button. For just Kyogre, like we said, the game was going to come down to the speed interaction on the Kyogres, and whether or not, and it was going to depend on which Kyogre could handle which opposing Kyogre as the trick move comes down.
Yeah. And I think this comes back to Bridger not carrying Stomping Tantrum on Metagross, and the fact that his Kyogre was faster, and the fact that he didn't target the Kyogre on the switch in with Zen Headbutt. I think a combination of those things led to his downfall in this game.
The flinch onto the Togedemaru when it tried to get the 3U turn, the Kyogre was huge too.
Yeah.
So, we'll watch the last few turns of this game. This goes for the Thunder Punch!
Electric Train boosted! Oh my!
Onto the Kyogre! Oh, Kyogre hands off!
With 1 HP! Oh my gosh! What?
Oh, no!
With the skull! Oh, and so that's why
Trick room to win the game. That's why he doesn't have
Stomping Tantrum. The Electric Train boosted Thunder Punch does not even pick up the KO onto Kyogre. It lives with 1 HP. I wonder, that was probably a roll. That's insane. Oh my gosh. What a way to end this game!
What a way to end the stream!
Oh my god. So that's another big reason why taking out Togedemaru, I guess, big for him.
I get why he really did not. Why he wanted to take out Togedemaru. Well, I definitely agree with George's play of not protecting the Kyogre there, as the stack attack, and then he risked losing his Zen Headbutt flinches. But
that was absolutely wild.
That was completely bonkers. I'm just gonna.
What a great way to end the game.
What a great way to end this.
George's probably heart just dropped when he saw it.
Hello? Hey, can you guys hear me?
What's up? We got SudokuMasta.
Dude,
oh my God.
I almost protected. I was so I was like, there's no way he has Thunder Punch. I was like, he'll probably like Iron Head my stack attack. I hope to get like flinches, so I won't protect Kyogre because there's no way he has Thunder Punch. And it Thunder Punched, and I was like, no! Like I literally yelled like no in my house. But
oh my God.
But this random thread that this random spread I got off Pikalytics for Kyogre came through, lived on 1 HP, and it was a successful battle.
Survive guaranteed, or?
What? No way. Definitely not. It was definitely a roll. Yeah, no, Emilio's got it right. Yeah, lucky ass George.
What were you thinking after turn 1 of that game?
What happened in turn 1 again? Something died. Oh, when Evoltaw died? Oh yeah, no, I was like, alright, I probably lose. Cause I thought he might do that, but I was like, hey, it's probably safe to just switch to Togedemaru and Tailwind. But no, it was absolutely not safe to do that.
What were you like when he flinched you with Zen when he tried to use Zen?
I yelled. I was so mad.
But Kyogre there, that would have been really good.
But then when he didn't get the double, I also yelled. But I was like, let's go! Let's go!
He also rock slided like a gym.
Yeah.
That was a really close match, yeah.
I was afraid Jaro wouldn't do it, but I was probably just dead wrong. Alright, so...
It does more damage!
Yeah, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I rock slided like a gym. Alright, well, don't go anywhere, Twitch chat, because right after this, we've got Metronome Battle Spot battles. I just gotta fix some stuff on OBS, so I'll be back in like 5 minutes. But yeah, thank you for commentating. I hope you had a good time.
No problem. That was actually really fun.
Yeah, that was a good match. Alright, boys.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Emilio for being the worst for roasting our commentary. But everyone else, you're the best.
Yeah, no, you were getting good feedback from chat. I was reading chat a little bit as I played, and I saw most people were down with the Nate Steven combo.
The Nate Steven,
shout out to Mega Lunala.
Mega Lunala, dude.